show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. With over 20 years of real estate experience and selling over 150 homes a year, Laura Sanders is the #1 RE/MAX agent in the state of Florida for 2021. Join us each week as we discuss how to make money through buying and flipping homes, to renting versus selling, and everything in between. To join the conversation, call in live 888-994-4995, Studio A.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. Every week we talk about something that will help you make a little money, save a little money, or maybe just help you navigate this crazy world we live in. You know, the one question I get every week is, what's going on with mortgages? How are rates looking? When are they coming down? And I said, let me get my crystal ball. But instead of getting my crystal ball, I'm going to get Max Fisch with Revolution Mortgage. Welcome, Max.
Thank you, as always.
So, you have a crystal ball? Can you tell me what's going to happen? Are rates going down?
I can't tell you what's going to happen, but I can tell you what is happening.
Okay, tell us.
Cool. The past couple weeks, rates have actually been a little bit lower than they have been in the last few months.
Can you give us an idea of what that looks like?
Like mid-6s for conventional.
FHA or regular?
FHA is like high 5s, low 6s.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's eased a little bit, but here's where I think there's some value in today's interest rate environment. It's not in the fixed rate, it's in the ARMs.
Okay.
And we haven't talked about those almost at all on
because
the show.
Usually they were more money for some short period of time.
So back in the day, ARMs used to be advantageous, right? And for anybody listening, an ARM is an adjustable rate mortgage. That's what it stands for.
So it could be for 3 or 5 or 7.
Yeah, they all have whatever the first number is in the ARM. That shows you how many years it's fixed for. So if it's a 5-1 ARM, it means that it's fixed for 5 years and then can adjust. The 1 stands for can adjust every year after that, once a year.
Okay, so only, that's good to know that it's only once a year. So.
Yes. So, but why that is advantageous now is because in the last 5 years, ever since rates dropped during COVID, ARM rates weren't. It didn't make any sense. They were almost identical to 30-year fixed rates. So why would you risk your rate changing when you can just get the same rate fixed, right?
Right.
But now what's starting to happen is the ARM rate is starting to be, a 0.5 percentage point lower than what a fixed rate is. And, in price ranges of like 5, 6, 700,000, which is what we see around here a lot, that could be the difference of, $200, $300 a month for somebody, for a 7/6 ARM. Okay. So a 7/6 ARM, for example, it's fixed for 7 years.
And then every 6 months.
Every 6 months it can adjust. Now here's the kicker, right? If you filled this room right now with, let's just say 100 people that were on the fence about buying or wanted to buy.
Right.
And you asked every single one of them, do you think that you're going to have a refinance opportunity within the next 7 years?
I think everybody
every
would say
single
yes.
one of them would say yes.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if we can get you a lower than market rate for the next 7 years, right, while prices and sellers are willing to negotiate a little bit.
Yeah, definitely a buyer's market.
Yep. Then when the market actually goes to that rate, like let's just say standard 30-year fixed, when the market actually goes to that rate, the home you're buying at $600,000 might be worth $630,000.
Right.
Right? Because you're getting a rate that's below market rate.
Right.
Fixed for 7 years. So it's almost like baked in value if you look at it mathematically.
Not only that, if the market changes and it becomes a seller's market, now you might have a lower interest rate, but now you're going to have to fight, and we might get back to that bidding war again.
Yeah,
so that's always a possibility.
It's all supply and demand, right? And so
I've seen 2 bidding wars in my 25 years. So that means I have to see it at least one more time.
Yeah. We spoke about this during COVID. There was people writing on contracts, I'll pay $100,000 over appraised value.
Ridiculous.
Right? And so right now buyers have the opportunity to go out and, maybe get a deal or get your closing costs paid for, or whatever that looks like. But as far as the rates are concerned, there's options for them to save and have baked in value immediately.
Now, probably about a year ago, we spoke about people that you had said to them, like, if you come back to me, I'll refinance you for only the hard costs, things that you have no
Control over.
control over. Have you seen anybody come back with that, or has really not been an option yet?
There's been a few in the past 12 months. Like last September, there was a dip in interest rates, and conventional rates were in the low 6s.
Okay.
And some people had mid 7s, right? So it made sense. But we really haven't hit, a mark yet where it makes sense for a lot of people to refinance.
Right.
But when it does, anybody returning, and there's no time frame on that, they won't have any bank fees associated with the refi.
So how much does the credit score affect these interest rates?
So that's an awesome question, actually, because credit is tiered by every 20 points typically.
Okay.
So, let's just talk about credit in the 700s. A 719 is not the same as 720.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So you have 700 to 719, and I won't go through the whole thing because I don't want to bore you, but you'll get the gist.
I find this very fascinating,
Well,
and I think other people should too, especially realtors.
Well,
but-
so you have 700 to 719, 720 to 739, 740 to 759,
Okay.
760 to 779, and then 780 plus.
Okay.
So if you have a 780 or an 830, your rate's the same.
730.
If you have a 780 or an 830,
Okay.
anything above 780 is all the same.
It's called golden.
Yes, that's excellent. But it's important that when you're calling lenders and getting rates, and you say, my credit's around a 760.
I love when people say, no, I'm an 800.
They might use 760, but if your credit score is 759, I know it sounds silly, it's in a different bucket.
And what would we see a difference in rate?
You might not see a difference in the actual rate, but you might see a difference in the cost of it.
APR.
Yeah, like so points and stuff like that. Like, at a 760, you might have a 6.8 rate, and at a 759, it takes you into a lower bucket. So now it still might be a 6.8, but there might be a slight charge to it.
Okay.
In the way of points.
Right, because what people don't understand, because it's funny, I posted something in a group, and they said, oh, you need to put the APR. And I'm like, well, how are you even going to know what the APR is? Because it would be dependent upon, and I was like, what does that even matter? Why would I need to do that, right?
Yeah, well, the APR is more...
because you're putting costs into it, which raises the APR.
Correct. It takes into consideration more fees than just the bank fees.
Right, okay.
Right, like there are other things that go into APR rather than just points. Some lender's title
So if
insurance.
I say to you, like, you get this question all the time, I'm sure, what's my interest rate, right?
Yeah.
And so you would be giving them...
very hard.
Right, and you'd say, well, if you are what you say,
Yep.
right? And we have to see that because pulling credit is different, and every time you pull, something different can come up. It might be 6.8 with 7.2 APR.
Yeah.
Right, so now you really need to be asking the APR.
The APR is tough for a general consumer to calculate because it incorporates so many other miscellaneous things. Really, what is important for people to know is what is my rate and am I paying any points for it?
Okay.
Right, like those two questions, because I get a lot of calls that say, hey, I'm shopping around for rates, right? And I always have a discussion with them. And honestly, it seems like every single time I'm the first person to explain this to them. Because I say, I want to make sure that you're comparing apples to apples.
Right.
Right? Somebody might tell you that you're getting a 6% rate, but they might be charging you points. Are you familiar with that term? And that's how I ask them.
I think most people have heard of points.
But they don't understand how it works.
Right.
So you want to make sure if you're just calling and asking for rates and somebody's like, oh, yep, 6%. Oh, great, bye.
Right.
Right? That's not the full story. Let's understand, are they giving you a 6% with nothing? No charges?
Right.
Right? Are they giving you 6% with 20,000 in charges? The most I've ever seen.
I can give you 6% too, but I need to see
Correct.
how they're getting to 6%.
We need to make
and
sure
see
we're
if I can
comparing
beat
apples.
that.
Exactly. We need to make sure we're comparing apples to apples. So the most I've ever seen before was on $1 million loan amount. Mm-hmm. He sent me the loan estimate and said something seems off here. Very nice guy, did really well in his business. And he was just like, can you explain something seems off? They were charging him $71,000 in points. 7% in points.
And he was okay with those closing costs?
He wasn't really okay with it. He didn't really understand, like, if this was
I mean, how could you be, fee, that means, but on top of that 7%, you still have other fees. So what, now you're at 1/7 of the, you're at, you know what I mean? Of
yeah,
the
so
loan.
What I told him was, I was like, you're at 71,000, they're charging you way too much, I'll do it for 70. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't do that.
How'd that work out for you?
I promise. But I informed him how outrageous that was, right? And here's what typical closing costs look like. They're anywhere between 3 and 4% of the purchase price in total, not just in points.
And yeah, it's dependent upon like how much insurance is, how much the taxes are, right?
Yep.
So closing costs can be the same identical house on the block, right? But one's lived in it for 30 years and their taxes are low. So your closing costs are going to be less because it's based on their taxes, where the next person could have just bought last year and it's based on their taxes. So,
exactly.
Or one has impact windows and one doesn't, or,
Yeah. There's a lot of things that just go into a home purchase that
people don't understand.
Just highlights the fact that you have to work with professionals, right? When somebody comes to me and they say, oh, they have a family friend, or this is the biggest purchase of your life. Hey, maybe we can work together with them, right? But it's important that you understand these things, because people come to me all the time that didn't work with me, or friends that I have or people I know. And they'll be like, why did my mortgage payment go up by so much?
Yeah, people don't appreciate the work that goes into what we do. And so, like, I think I had that person who just said, oh yeah, I went with another realtor because they're only charging me 1.5%. Oh, I went with another realtor because this is somebody that I've sold multiple houses for. And they were like, listen, you're always going to still be my girl, but this time I just need to give it to my handyman's
oh, geez.
friend who's a realtor. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, you can't make this stuff up.
There's tens of thousands of dollars at stake with these types of things.
Yeah.
And so it's just really important to, go with somebody that's reputable.
Yeah, or go with somebody that's always out playing golf or off doing other things and not focused on their business. And, listen, by you doing these interviews, right, and it's showing that you really know what you're talking about. And where else can you really get to let people know what you do know?
Sure.
And it's hard to be able to express ourselves, right?
Yep.
Like, like one of the things that I would definitely want to talk about when we come back from commercial break is I would want to talk about, how do you get up that one more point? Can you help them do that?
Yeah.
Right? Because I know you can.
Let's talk about
it,
yeah.
And things that you shouldn't be doing before you're getting ready to buy a house, and have that checklist and be ready for it. It's funny, I had somebody I'm selling, they're getting ready, they want to buy, but they're selling, but they told me they were buying cash, but now all of a sudden they're like, oh, I bought a car, and I'm like, okay, well, you said you're paying cash, so I'm not worried about it. Well, I might get a small mortgage for like $50,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, did you buy the car? Well, I paid cash. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I've had people go out and buy breast implants before, and I'm like, did you finance them? I just want to know. I'm asking for a friend. Like, we can't have that.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to commercial break. When we come back, I want you to tell people, how can you help them?
Yeah.
And I know you can't tell them everything, otherwise you might have to just, bury them. But how can you help them to get that 1 point up?
Sure.
To get that reduction.
Yeah, let's
so
do
stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Whether you're buying, selling, refinancing, or building your dream home, you have a lot riding on your loan specialist. Max Fisch, a top 1% mortgage loan officer in the nation, will give you a same-day qualifying quote. Max Fisch is committed to providing his customers with mortgage services that exceed their expectations. Ensuring that you make the right choice for you and your family is his ultimate goal. Contact Max Fisch today at 954-729-6933 or max.fisch@nwmcorp.net.
At JK Closing Attorneys, we do all of the same things that a title company does, but with the benefits of being a law office. We can help with residential real estate, short sales, commercial real estate, refinances, 1031 exchanges, and FRIPTA withholding.
Contact JK Closing Attorneys today at 954-332-3111. Again, that is 954-332-3111.
Priority One Credit Union of Florida is a welcoming credit union that makes your financial success our #1 priority. We offer lower loan rates, higher deposit rates, and common sense local loan approvals with nationwide access through shared branching.
Hi, I'm Dina Hennessy, President and CEO at Priority One Credit Union. We are open to the community. Anyone can be a member of our credit union, and we would love to have you.
Contact us today at 954-335-5100. You can also reach us at PriorityOneFL.org. Your financial success is our priority. That's 954-335-5100.
You have been watching Making Money with Laura. For more information, contact Laura Sanders at 954-650-0827 or visit her website at theloracell.com. And now back to the show.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. I'm here today with my crystal ball, Max Fisch from Revolution Mortgage, and we're talking about what's going on in the mortgage industry this week, what's going on with rates, but most of all, telling us how credit score really affects our interest rate and what it's going to cost us to get a mortgage. So what I wanted Max to help us with is tell us, like, how can you help us to get up that 1 point, so, recommendations?
Yeah, so that 1 point it's interesting because for some people, it's a lot more difficult to get up 1 point. And for some people, it could be at a snap of a finger.
Yeah, you have a simulator, right, where you put it in. And
so the bottom line is there's over 250 factors that make up a credit score.
Okay.
250, right? It could be as simple as something's misreporting on your credit, from a past address, right? Or
give me an example of that.
For example, sometimes credit bureaus pull from different data from different sources. And sometimes when somebody has a name that's very popular, for example, it could pull in wrong data, right? And that could be, a bunch of different things: employment, work, derogatory remarks, those types of things. And so what's really interesting is, and the easiest way to get your score up fast is to just get all of your credit cards below 50% utilization.
Okay.
And what that means is that if your credit balance on a credit card is, let's say, $10,000, you want to get your balance below 5.
Okay.
For maximum increase, you want to get it below 30%, which would be 3.
Okay.
So I've seen simulators actually a lot of times where if people get it under 30% utilization, it's almost the same as paying it off. Some people think that they just need to pay it off to increase their score.
Okay.
You actually just need to lower your utilization.
Okay.
So the reason why it's important to know that when I'm working with a buyer is, I'll use the same example I just used. They have a $10,000 card and they owe $7,000 on it, right? They have a $3,000 card and they owe $2,000 on it. Instead of paying off the entire 7 and paying off the entire 2, which is 9, all we have to do is take both cards and just pay them both lower to 30%.
Okay.
Right? That means you don't have to come out of pocket as much money.
Right.
Right? Because you're not paying them off. Now, if you can pay them off, that's great. It's not going to hurt you.
But if you even get it, though, but if it goes, I put a lot of marketing expenses on my credit card. So I will say that I'm hitting my max credit line. I should probably just go request before I get to that point to have a bigger credit line.
Sure. But
maybe then I'll just spend more. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Credit is tricky too, because let's say you're hitting the max, right? But 5 days later you pay it off.
Right.
Depending on when you pull it, it'll pull from, maybe it pulled from the 5 days that your balance was high. Maybe it didn't pull from that. Maybe it pulled from, a week before when it was lower, or when after you paid it off, right? It's not a perfect science.
Right.
So that's why a lot of times when somebody applies for a loan, I go through with them, hey, are these balances, do these seem accurate? Because, sometimes there's a lag, and a lot of times people are like, oh no, I already paid that off.
Okay.
Or I already did this. So, that could be a quick, simple solution.
Okay. What are some other recommendations? Let's just say you are 1 point off, right? Mm-hmm. What can you do? Let's say you don't have any credit card debt. You have no debt. You have a car payment. That's it.
So, unfortunately, in certain scenarios, there's not much that can be done in the short term. Meaning, if you have no debt and you just have a car payment, there's not anything that we can really like do or manipulate, right? Like there's no credit cards that we can mess with. There's no derogatory remarks. Sometimes it's just simply credit history. Maybe somebody can add you as an authorized user on a card, and it shows that you've had, that card was opened 5 years ago. Maybe it'll reflect that you've had, longer history of credit, right? That might be able to help, but it doesn't help all of the time.
So like I have mortgages in my name, right?
Yep.
So that hurts me in a sense because I have more credit. Now, as the house goes up in value, does the credit recognize that?
I don't think it hurts you. Honestly, I think it's the opposite. Actually, I know it's the opposite. The more debt you have, the better your credit score is going to be.
Okay.
But you have to have a long time of having debt and showing that you pay your debt on time.
Okay.
Right? That's why when people first open a credit card and they get credit, they're like, why is my credit score 690? I haven't missed any payments. It's because you don't have any history of paying it on time.
Yeah, like I added my daughter on as a credit as an
Yes.
authorized user. It took her credit score from like she was a C, they call it,
Yeah.
to now she was an A.
Yeah. So you actually having mortgages for a long time, paying them on time, it's helping you, not hurting you.
Right.
Credit score wise.
Right. So what other recommendations could you make to people, especially like our kids, right? Moving forward for them that, they have no credit. How do they, because nobody starts off with an 800, right? We all start off with no credit.
Yep.
So how do we keep them from ruining their credit?
So some people are against what I'm about to say.
Okay.
But if done right, I feel like it could be beneficial.
Okay.
You can actually add minor children onto credit cards, like as an authorized user to help them start building their credit even before they're 18.
Okay.
Now, that has been used, just like a lot of other things, as, there's been malpractice in that space, right? Like there's been...
Or they actually get cards in their kids' names.
Yeah, there's been adults that get cards in their kids' names because they can't qualify for themselves, and then they ruin their credit, right? But if
Yeah,
used...
we're not looking to do that.
Yes, but if used appropriately, I think that can be a good way of starting to help them build credit so that by the time they're, 19, 20, 25, it shows that they've had a longer credit history, so they'll have a better credit score.
Okay.
As long as everything's paid on time.
Okay. No, that's good. This is all good information because a lot of times, like I said, I think that maybe she's my stepdaughter, maybe when she was in college, she wasn't doing the right things with her credit cards, and that's the thing. You miss one $50 payment.
That'll do it.
And it's going to wreck you,
Yep.
So we want to be able to know what we can do to keep you and be able to buy a house, because the better your credit is, the lower the interest rate, and that helps you to buy a little bit better of a house.
Yep, exactly.
So
that all of those different tools can help. Now, I'm not a credit expert, right? I'm not a credit specialist. My knowledge only goes to a certain point when it comes to credit. But there are people that I've partnered with, trusted people, that's what they do for a living.
Right.
So they can look at different
So you have
things.
somebody, what's a good way to reach out to you for somebody that wants to get a mortgage and needs your help guiding them to get to there? You have people that can help them. What would be a good number to call you at?
Yeah, by text or phone, 954-729-6933.
And what would you say is the one thing that makes you stand out from all the rest? Besides your muscles. What makes you stick out?
No, I think that I just came into this business with a fresh mind, right? I built my business a bit based off of how we currently do real estate and all the different parts that entails currently now. Now, I didn't build my business 10 years ago.
Right.
I didn't build my business 15 years ago. And so being able to come in with a fresh mind and understanding, the landscape of the industry, and building my business around, the first-time home buyer that's coming up from a new generation, right? Millennials, for example, they started their business. They're starting to buy homes right when I started in this business. So
worked out good for you.
Yeah, so just understanding that dynamic, and then also understanding the history of the real estate market and how to prevent certain things and how to address pain points. I really think that's what separates me, is understanding people's pain points before they tell me.
And tell us, where are you ranking right now in the nation?
In the nation right now, I'm top 50 loan officers countrywide.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And statewide, as of the last 12 months, I'm number 2.
All right, we won't ask who number 1 is because it doesn't matter. So give Max Fisch a call. And if you're looking for the best realtor out there, and I'm sure a lot of people say that they're number 1, but I am number 11 in the United States for RE/MAX, so I think that accounts for something out of 130,000 agents. Give me a call, Laura Sanders, RE/MAX Direct. Don't make a move without me, 954-650-0827. And again, don't make a move without me. Until next week, thank you for always listening.
Thank you for tuning in for Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. To join the conversation, call us at the studio, 888-994-4995 Studio A, or contact Laura directly at 954-650-0827. Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. We look forward to seeing you